And Willie, how are you doing today, sir? What's going on with you?
Woo-wee! It feels like it has been forever since I've been in the huddle, man.
It has been. You've been out of the huddle. What's up with that, man?
Oh my gosh. Cleveland, what's going on? I'm glad to have you have your adopted son, brother back on the air out there or 95.9, man. It is going on. Look, there's been a lot of things going on in this household, but we are back on track and we are ready to do what we do. How you doing, Rachel?
I'm doing good. I missed you.
Same here. Same here. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind around here, but like my pops used to say, God rest his soul. If you're still breathing, you still got a chance. So here we are.
Yeah, every day you wake up, it's a new chance to get things right. So let me go ahead and get into the Senate League action first. So Cleveland High School. So what's going on in the Senate League is that today is a busy day, and you have preliminary boys tennis matches. So all Senate League boys tennis teams will compete in preliminary matches at Jefferson Park, and the winners will advance to the tennis championship. So that's one of the things that's taking place in the Senate League. Jesse Owens High School Track Championship. So all Senate high schools will compete in the Jesse Owens Track Championship at Collinwood Athletic Complex. So that's a huge event today. In esports, esports is a thing. So you have John F. Kennedy versus John Hay. You have Lincoln West versus Gann Academy in esports, and those matches started at 3:45. And Senate League Baseball starts at 5 p.m. And you have Max Hayes versus Garrett Morgan at League Park, which is a beautiful facility. Glenville versus Bard at Gordon, and John Adams versus James F. Rhodes at Brookside. So that's what's going on in Cleveland high school sports today. A lot going on as they wind down the school year. So some championships and whatnot. So let's just go ahead and get into it, Willie. Last night, the Cleveland Guardians. Woo! The
Ooh.
Cleveland Guardians. The Cleveland Guardians had a huge game last night, a huge victory against the Chicago White Sox. Come from behind victory because when I turned the game on, it was actually 5-1, and I was kind of hesitant to watch the game because I'm like, this ain't looking too good. Zach Plesac started out on the mound, gave up some runs, but then he settled down. He actually ended up pitching 6 and 1/3 innings. But when I turned it on, I'm like, man, this ain't looking good for the home team. So and then all of a sudden, a spark, a spark happened,
It
and
wasn't a spark, it was a flame.
yeah, man. It was some hitting that you don't see too often because one of the things is, this is a young team. It's a hot and cold team, so you're not sure what you're going to get out of them every night. And they are. I think they've won 8 out of the past 10 games, which is awesome and amazing. They were able to take 3 out of 4 from the Toronto Blue Jays, which is a really good team, in the AL East. So they were able to take 3 out of 4. They were able to sweep the A's, which was huge as well. First time since I think 1980, so first time in 40 years that they swept the Oakland A's.
Everybody
So
will be sweeping the A's this year.
yeah, but that was huge for the Guardians to do.
I mean,
Last.
I think the A's are in the well, I know they've dropped the first two of the Detroit series, lost the
Oh,
game today
really?
6-0. And then
Oh,
there's a double hitter that's gonna be it may be actually on now, but yeah, man, the A's. Oh my gosh.
yeah, I have some struggles, man.
I mean, when you don't have any when all of your boppers are gone, I mean, they got rid of everybody. And I need to actually contact my cousins that still live out there in the town. They have been keeping me abreast on what's going on with the stadium deal. But now seeing what I'm seeing from Billy Bean and the rest of the player or the rest of the brain trust out there, I'm starting to have some conspiracy theories at this point that I might have to share with the audience at a later point. But I definitely will be getting into that on the next hashtag Brothers of Baseball show that will be airing tomorrow, and we'll be recording tonight.
Awesome. Awesome. So, so the Guardians got out to a slow start, and it pretty much was all to the bad. And I believe Andres Jimenez was able to get a hit, and because pretty much all the coverage has been about Josh Naylor and what Josh Naylor did. But some of the catalysts of how that win was able to take place was Andres Jimenez opened up the ninth with a solo home run to left field off of White Sox reliever Tanner Banks, and he and added an RBI double in the 10th. So that was one of the things that helped seal that victory. Also, too, one of the things is that the White Sox didn't play the best defense. They committed 4 errors, and they had 2 from Tim Anderson, which is really surprising because Tim Anderson is one of the best shortstops in all of baseball. So for him to have 2 errors, because I don't know if you remember when they were here a couple weeks ago, Tim Anderson gave a double bird to the fans or whatever. So that was really shocking and surprising. I don't know if he got fined or anything like that for doing that, but it was really surprising behavior to come out of him, especially because he is one of the White Sox, team leaders and things like that. So bad defense by Chicago was able to help open that up. And then there was one play in which they didn't credit somebody with a error, and then all of a sudden they did. I can't remember at what point in the game was that. I don't know. It might have been in the fifth inning or so. And they initially didn't credit them with an error, but then they did go ahead and credit. So it was a series of different events. And then you got Josh Naylor who gets up there, bases are loaded, and then he hits a home run. So he had a grand slam, which was amazing. He
Mhm.
was pretty pumped about that. He's screaming, give me all that smoke. And and then he gets up there during extra innings in the 11th inning and hits a 3-run shot, which effectively seals the game. So what he did was he was the first player in Major League history to let me get that stat. First player in Major League history with two 3+ run home two 3+ home runs in the ninth inning or later in the same game, according to the stats. And combined with RBI double, so he became the first player with at least 8 RBI from the eighth inning on, since the RBI became an official statistic in 1920. What are your thoughts on Josh Naylor and just him coming back from serious injury? Because one of the things is he didn't know if he was ever going to play baseball again. So coming back from a serious injury, it took him about a week, past the time frame he wanted to come back, before he was able to get back on the field. He still, struggled a little bit, with his injury, but pretty much back to full form. What are your thoughts about Josh Naylor and what he's been doing for the Cleveland Guardians?
I'm a huge fan. I've always been a fan of Naylor going back to what probably the 18-19 season. Um, what he did against the White Sox and what he's really been doing all year is nothing short
Hmm.
of remarkable because you just alluded to it, and to your point about the severity of that injury. I mean, it if you guys out there remember the Dak Prescott injury against the Giants 2 years ago or 2 seasons ago, it was a lot like that in the fact that it was ugly. And that dude, to do what he did in this game and to keep the I almost said Indians, to keep the Guardians. Now, you got look, we go through, I have to have a fight with y'all every season since I've been linked up with you guys, you and Kate and Natalie and whoever else is an Indian, or I mean a Guardian fan. This team is going to surprise you. They're not going to go away. Josh, what Naylor did, I mean, look, he had what? Let's see, he had a double and 2 home runs, right? So that's what? That is 10 total bases from the ninth inning on. That's got to be
Hmm.
some sort of record. Um, and then it came at the right time for this particular team. The amount of confidence that he's going to help inject into that team and into that lineup. I don't know what else to say about Ramirez because this dude is playing out of his mind, and that is a welcome and needed at bat in that lineup to help out Ramirez. Uh, I'm ecstatic for him. I love these shake back stories. You know that that's where we came from, and I hope that he continues it throughout the season.
Yeah, so he's also one of the better hitters in the American League right now. His batting average is 338 and his OPS is 944. So
Mm.
he's part of the heart of that lineup. And a season ago, he drove in 21 runs in 69 games prior to the injury that ended his season. So this year he's already driven in 21 runs, but has only needed 19 games to do it. So he is one of the hottest batters in all of Major League Baseball right now. And he's kind of done it very quietly. Last night he did it noisily, but he's done it very quietly because I'm like impressed at this statistics or whatever. And I'm just like, Josh Taylor is, one of the best in the league right now. And he's done it very quietly.
I mean, he's always been a very good player. Uh, I think the injury sometimes the severity of these types of injuries will make a ball player's mindset totally shift and understand and help them understand that, you know what, I'm not going to be doing this forever. This was proof that my career could be over in one play or on one play.
Hmm.
So once he finally got the leg or the ankle um, physically ready to go, he had to work on his mental. So, I mean, he's probably never going to be the player that he was in the outfield. I mean, but still, with the universal DH and everything that has transpired with baseball with the rules, man, this dude, I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. I had somebody else tabbed as my comeback player of the year. I think it may have been Mike Trout, but are we really going to give Mike Trout a comeback player of the year award, or will we give it to somebody like this?
Hmm. Yeah, I think you give it to somebody like Josh Naylor. Like I said, not a lot of flash to him. A slow sizzle like a steak. But I think you give it to somebody like Josh Naylor, who and Mike Trout had an injury, and has came back from injury and things of that nature. But you want to give it to somebody who isn't used to getting a ton of accolades and doesn't have the spotlight on them, and doesn't come with a lot of fanfare. And I think, it was very extensive ankle injury. So Tito has him platooning and had him at first base last night. So he's not even playing in the outfield anymore, I don't think, because I don't think I've seen him in the outfield all season long. Now that I think about it. So he was playing first base last night.
So how is his? I haven't seen a lot of the Guardians this year, but how is his defense at first base?
His defense is, pretty good last night. They were able to get a crucial out. Like there was a sequence of events in which they threw to home and they didn't get the out because it was something like during the sequence of events and one of the, I don't did they get the out? And he wasn't involved in that. But it was a throw that kind of shouldn't have taken place. They should have tried to get the out. The runner did advance. It was something that happened. I can't really remember. But so far, his defense has been pretty good. There hasn't been anything to complain about at all.
Well, you know that when a player is shifted from third base or the outfield to first base, that is to take away them having to work so hard in the field.
Well,
So
yeah, because he's not moving around like he used to, and Tito, admitted that as well. So, they sent Bobby Bradley down. So we lost a brother. So Bobby Bradley got sent back down to AAA. So, which isn't too bad. At least they did get rid of him, so they still believe in him a little bit. Um, but yeah, so that's what happened. So they have him up playing first base as well. So.
I mean, and hey, whoever they had tabbed for that spot at the beginning of the year, or even coming in and then during and then coming out of spring training, obviously it wasn't Naylor, but what that does, it gives the Guardians added depth at that very important position.
hmm And I think he's platooned before at first base. I think maybe when he first came, Tito had him playing a little first base, but I definitely think that he'll probably do more first base and stay away from that outfield. So, like you mentioned, he doesn't have to run all the time and things of that nature. So, I think that's a good thing to have him, and maybe he can be a DH, take a couple nights off and stuff like that, give Franmil some time. But yeah, I guess Bobby Bradley could use some additional work, and maybe Bobby will come back up and give Josh a rest because that injury haven't said how much it was going to impact him, but it was pretty extensive, and having a broken ankle and things of that nature, I can imagine him wanting a little bit more rest this year than previous years, past healthy though.
Hmm. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it can only be beneficial for him in the long run and ultimately for the team as well. So I I I like it. I like where, I mean, the Cleveland Guardians are at this point. I this this whole thing with the pitching rotation, I think is going to continue to come around. And look out, man, because these bats are eventually going to warm up. And as a matter of fact, the Guardians are, I think, in the top 3 or 4 as far as team batting average goes. So they're already working the jelly there.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take a break really quickly. Because we're gonna talk about that some more. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Her and the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. Remember, you can always listen to us live on that dial on your radio. You can also listen to us online at WOVU.org. You can download the WOVU app and listen to us on the go and listen to your favorite personalities, such as Willie and myself. And then you can always give us a call at 216-271-0959. You can always watch us as well on the ASAP Sports Network on Facebook. So we are streaming. We welcome your comments. George has been in the comment box, and he said
Yes.
Naylor went nuts. So he also was talking about your team, Willie. He said, think about this. Oakland played Detroit in game 1, but the A's were the home team in Detroit. So what else is crazy with the green and white? And Bobby Bradley was the first DFA, ended up clearing waivers, then sent to Columbus. So Bobby's down there going to work on some things. Hopefully he can be brought back up because that bat is a good bat, but he's constantly striking out. So that was one of the things on the scout report with him, is that he's going to strike out. But if you can work with him and get him to make consistent contact, that could be a great bat for your lineup as well. And then you figure out what you do with him at first with Josh Naylor. But yeah, why was the A's the home team in Detroit?
Your guess is as good as mine. I mean,
Hmm.
I have no idea because I was watching the game earlier, right? And I was saying, because when they show the score, right,
Yeah.
the home team is always at the bottom and the visiting team is at the top. And I'm looking
Right.
around and I'm like, okay, they playing at Comerica Park. I see Tigers.com all over the place, or whatever their website is. I see the tiger emblem on the ground. So I'm thinking to myself at first, is this a rerun? But then I was like, why is Oakland? It was the top of the ninth, and the Tigers were pitching. No, we were pitching, and it was the top of the ninth. I'm like, this ain't right. What are they doing? And lo and behold, George cleared it up. I didn't even realize that's what it was. And I'm not sure what kind of scheduling this is, but you know what? They could be making a play to share a stadium with the Detroit Tigers since the whole thing in Oakland seems to be blowing up.
Is that bad that they got to share a stadium with Detroit?
Man, it's blowing. It seems to be blowing down in the town. So I'm just waiting for the hammer to drop. Shoot.
I'm trying to figure out who's on the mound tonight because one of the things that has been brought up today, is whether or not people or whether or not the Chicago White Sox will possibly retaliate against Josh Naylor for doing a bat flip twice.
Why would they? I mean, okay, let me just speak on this for a minute. Okay. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick to death of the stupid unwritten rules from the days when there were only two divisions in each league, and it was that way all the way up until I want to say 1996, if not before that. Why are and then again and then the media and the players that were responsible for these so-called unwritten rules ain't even here anymore for the most part. Like Junior said, let the kids play. This is a different generation. This is a different mindset. This is a different style of play when it comes to this. And I'm going to tell baseball this right now. Major League Baseball, you need to understand that this is the reason, one of the reasons why so many fans are not watching your sport the way that we did growing up, because times have changed. And if you are not moving forward, then you are getting left behind. And that is the reason why Major League Baseball is rapidly becoming the fifth major sport in North America and not just the third.
What's 3, 4, and what's 3 and 4? I had to think for a second. I had to
National
think about
Hockey
my math.
League, the NHL, and soccer. You better watch out for this soccer, man. The soccer leagues are here. And that is, of course, that has been spawned on and brevied on by the U.S. women's national team, who are phenomenal in their own right. But Major League Baseball, look, they need somebody like me in there that can reach 2 or 3 sets of generations. I can reach my generation, the generation that came before me, and the generation that we're currently in. I can reach all of them. Seriously.
And get them to love baseball.
And get them to make baseball great again. Maba.
Oh my God. Making baseball great again.
Matt, what is it? Make baseball okay, whatever. But that's the point, is that whoever's in charge needs to be fired. Period, point blank. And I'm gonna say this because it's what it is. But people that are the same shade of color as you and I, that love that sport, Rachel, we tend to be a little bit more athletic than some of the other counterparts. And that's no knock, that's a fact. But with more athleticism comes with more being able to do more things on the baseball diamond. So with being able to do more things on the baseball diamond leads to more emotion being shown. So as a person that has played that sport, whether it was in the streets or even organized softball, I, for me, know how important it is to channel the emotion that is generated by the love of that game. And then it just comes out, not disrespectfully, not trying to show up the other team or anything like that, because it's all about me and my team. And I believe that if players and coaches and managers and front office people and Major League Baseball front office people can grasp that concept, then we might be on to something.
I think so too.
I like it when you get quiet, Rachel.
Because I was listening, you was preaching, you was going to church. So I agree with you as well. And it's just a travesty. You're right. You're absolutely right. Um,
Now,
but
there's no reason why. Um, there's no reason why any manager should authorize the throwing a fastball up and in to send a message. If you really want to send a message, get the dude out.
yeah, you're gonna have to pitch him differently. Your game plan has changed for him.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand. Making sure that you own the plate as a pitcher from the dish. I mean, from the bump. But that high chin music, man, that can kill people.
Hmm.
It's time out for that, man. I mean, it reminds me of when people that I used to go to school with would talk about getting into fights on football fields. I'm like, yo, did you take your helmet off? And they're like, no, you don't ever take your helmet off. But it's okay for pitchers that are throwing, in the 90s up close and high and tight, not allowing for a batter to get out of the way. And that batter has a family. That batter is the breadwinner. That hitter is only trying to do what they can to maintain a certain lifestyle that they've earned. I mean, they've earned it. They put in the hard work, sweat and tears, blood and all that stuff, just like the pitcher did. So what happened? And I've always wanted this, Rachel. Let me ask you. So if that happened, say for instance, you were at the dish and I'm on the mound and I throw a high heater just like right underneath your chin. And then motion at me like you gonna come after me. Are you bringing the bat with you? Because
Uh, yeah, but I'm gonna use my fist.
but
Well,
no,
it depends. Because sometimes it's inadvertent. Sometimes control is an issue for some pitchers. You
but I'm not
know,
talking. I'm not talking about
but
those
you
times.
talking about
I'm talking
you
about the
talking about I
times
can
where
tell it's deliberate.
yes, when
I
you
know for
know that
sure
it's
it's deliberate.
deliberate.
Well,
Yes,
yeah, yeah, we're gonna have to scrap. We're gonna have to have the benches clear, the bullpen run out from across the field. That's my favorite part when the bullpen run all the way from the bullpen to come fight because I'm like,
the,
by the time you get there, you all out of breath and stuff. That's my favorite part.
the
But yeah,
slow jog.
we clearing the benches.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right with every point you bring it up. This is a human being. Josh just came off of a devastating injury that cost him his season. We shouldn't be throwing at anybody's head. He made Major League Baseball history yesterday. He probably didn't know it at the time, but he was pumped. He was bringing his team back. He hit a grand slam, and his team never said die. And then he hit another home run. It's just like you got to tip your cap to what he did, and that's that. He should be pumped. And if your team did it, you be happy too. You just mad you lost in the manner that you lost because you had the game locked up, and that was on your pitching staff that let it go. But tip your cap to his accomplishment and let it be. And go out and play some baseball. There's no need for anything to be retaliatory or anything like that. I can't believe that this even came up, that somebody would even, but it could be a media driven narrative, and the Sox could, want to pitch on the straight and narrow.
Well, I'll put it to you like this: that number one, I think I would pay money to see a batter charge the mound with the bat in his hand. I think, as a matter of fact, I know I will pay money to see that. If it happened, I would really be interested to see what type of a punishment would be handed down because I don't recall ever seeing anything like that happen in baseball. And then number three, for the White Sox, I'm sorry, it would be different if all of this that took place, all of this that Naylor did, and the Guardians were down, 15-2 or something like that, or even if they were up, 9-3. I could see the other team having an issue with it at that point because now at that point you are just showing me up. So
Hmm.
but the baseball lore, they're not capable of policing themselves because of that same emotion.
Mm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, and they came down from eight runs down almost. So,
That's their fault.
or
That's the White Sox
exactly.
fault.
Exactly. So nobody should be thinking about throwing balls at anybody. You just move on. You lost the game, in a terrible manner, and also they defense as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
those are things that your team need to work on. And, if they had been on par, they wouldn't have lost the game. So, defense is something that, they should be working on anyway because it's been atrocious. But, you can't be hating on no team because they won in that fashion. Tip your cap and, be like, it is what it is, you
Yeah.
know?
Think
So
about when Tim Anderson hit that walk off in the Field of Dreams game last
yeah,
year.
that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
didn't I didn't see nobody rioting and stuff like that. Everybody enjoyed it. It was a great game, and I don't think they threw at him after that
Mm-hmm.
because they just played that one game. But did they have a whole series against the Yankees?
Yeah, I think the one game was there.
Yeah, and then they played the rest of the series. Do you remember in Chicago or New York?
I'm pretty sure it was in Chicago because the Field of Dreams is in Ohio or Iowa,
Yeah.
which
Are they
is
doing a Field of Dreams game this year?
I do believe they are.
Okay.
Yeah, I do
I,
believe they are.
I think they should do one every year.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool.
Yep.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take another break. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Her and the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. I got Willie Epstein Jr. joining me. And Willie, I was able to find out who is on the bump tonight. It is right-handed pitcher Cal Quantrill. He has a 1-1 record and a 3.54 ERA versus Lucas Giolito, right-hand pitcher, 1-1 at 3.20 ERA. So
Mhm.
that should be another good matchup tonight. Similar pitchers, similar numbers. And right now, the Guardians are in second place in the division.
Well, I'm not gonna say it's not surprising. Um, because I think it's more surprising that the White Sox are playing as poorly as they are.
Yeah. But they had a lot of injuries, though, too.
Uh, so 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 so,
Yeah, I know.
but
I ain't complaining.
yeah, I mean, the Twins though. I mean, I think the Twins are really the surprise of the division. And I talked about this on the last episode of the hashtag Brothers of Baseball about how when Carlos Correa decided to sign in Minneapolis, St. Paul to play for the Twins, me and Mike Martinez were like, "What? Why?" And that dude had the nerve to come out and say, "Because they're building a championship culture here." Okay, the Minnesota Twins have not had a championship culture since 1991.
Mm,
I mean, they can hit the ball out of the ballpark, but
yeah.
were they ever really realistically a true number one or a viable contender to win the World Series? No, because they kept running into the Yankees.
Yeah. No, they haven't.
So I don't know, man. I know we're only almost a third of the way through the season. But
Hmm.
as we used to say on the hashtag Brothers of Baseball show with my brother Donnie Epting, it's early, but it's getting late real soon.
Hmm. Yeah, well, Byron Buxton has been, huge for the Minnesota Twins, and Max Kepler always does his thing, and they've actually had some pretty decent pitching. So, and the Guardians play them on this road trip as well. So they play the White Sox, and then they play the Minnesota Twins. So this is a huge road trip for this team to kind of see what they're made out of. Going on the road against the two teams that, well, now the Guardians are in second place, but they could easily flip flop, with the White Sox, depending on who wins. But you got your cellar dwellers, you got your the Detroit Tigers, who beat your team, the Oakland A's.
Who asked you?
And the public, I had to inform the public. I had to disseminate information. And then you got your Royals, who are also terrible as well. So
Mm-hmm.
it might be a three-way race in the division. The Guardians are picked to finish in the middle, but I don't know if these bats keep getting hot. They might be able to put some distance between themselves, and I don't know. I don't know. They'd be able to put themselves some distance between themselves and the other teams.
Let,
I don't know.
let me ask you a question about this. Who do you feel at this point of the season is the bigger disappointment? The Chicago White Sox or the Boston Red Sox?
Oh, I think the Boston Red Sox by far.
I mean, they are terrible.
Good, they can deserve it. Good. I'm glad. They need to be terrible once in a while.
I
They're
mean,
always good.
who do you hate more, the Boston Red Sox or the New York Yankees?
I'd say I hate the Yankees more because I would root for the Red Sox over the Yankees.
Yeah, you can't root
So
for a tie in baseball, can you?
no, I hate them
There's
both
no
though.
tying in baseball.
Yeah, I hate them both equally though, but maybe just the Yankees a little bit more. I mean, they got what 27 championships. You know, I hate them both.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the reason why I hate them. I mean, it's kind of to me, it's kind of silly to say that because they win too much, I'm gonna hate them. I just don't like the fact that they don't let their people wear beards.
Oh, really?
No, look at their players. All their players are clean shaved. As a matter
Oh,
of fact, when Jason Giambi went from the A's to the Yankees, he had to cut his hair and his beard.
oh, really?
Yeah, they run that place like the military.
Mm. Well, I mean, ain't nothing wrong with looking a little clean shaven.
Yeah, but I want to be myself.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a huge facial hair person though, so it kind of works for me.
Well, but, but here's the thing though: if I'm Aaron Judge or if I'm Garrett Cole, and you're paying me $31 million a year, you mean to tell me that I cannot wear a mustache or a beard and I make 31 million stacks a year? Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Remember when the Chicago Bulls, I think, remember you couldn't wear, your hair, like you had to have a haircut or something like that. Remember? It was a
Who?
big deal in the NBA. It was one of the NBA teams in which um oh
You missed
God.
me with this one, Rachel.
Yeah, this was like in the mid 2000s or something. Like you couldn't have braids or something like that, or no headbands or something like that.
Well, yeah, they had a
You remember
different.
what I'm talking about now?
Yeah, they had a dress code issue. Yeah, but that was a league mandated thing. This is the freaking New York Yankees that don't have a problem with going over the luxury tax. So I don't know, man. It just seems very communistic to me.
Yeah. Well, Um, we'll see what happens with the Guardians tonight versus the White Sox, and they have another thrilling game. You don't want them to have to continue to come from behind. You want them to be able to win it in regular innings. So tonight will be interesting, and we'll see how that goes. So let's move on to these NBA playoffs, man. What are your thoughts right now? Two games are going to be taking place tonight. You are going to have the Miami Heat against the Philadelphia 76ers tonight. And you are going to have the Phoenix Suns versus the Dallas Mavericks. And both series are tied at 2-2 each. Let's start with this Phoenix Dallas series, Willie. What are your thoughts about that series so far?
Luka Doncic is one of the best 5 players in the National Basketball Association, bar none. I ain't you laughing. I am 100% serious.
Yeah,
He,
but is he gonna be able to will his team to victory over the doggone Phoenix Suns?
I mean, you only as good as your last game, right? What
Yeah,
happened? What happened in the last game?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Chris Paul had 4 fouls in the first half.
Really?
Yes,
It
fouled
was in
out.
Dallas, right?
Yeah, but I mean, all of the fouls were legit. And not only that, he fouled out of the game of a playoff game for the first time ever in his life.
Was he guarding Luca?
Nope. He was
Mm,
guarding Jalen Brunson. And
mm.
Brunson was giving it to him. But here's the thing though. Chris Paul had, I want to say, 14 turnovers in the 2 games here in Dallas. Something crazy like that. They got to clean that up. And I'm gonna tell you something else too about the Suns. Devin Booker, he might be the second coming of Kobe Bryant.
Mm.
I
That's
love
that.
I love that dude's game. He can do it from every point on the floor.
Yeah, it is impressive. So, he's one of the, the straw that stirs the drink for the Phoenix Suns. And, I want the Phoenix Suns to come out of the West. And one of the reasons is also like the game of Devin Booker as well. And, he's a phenomenal player and sensational. And, you pair him with Chris Paul and some of the role players that you have with the Phoenix Suns. And that's where the kind of the magic happens, and that's why I think that they'll make it out of the West over the Golden State Warriors.
I'm telling you right now, if the Mavs take Game 5 in Phoenix, the Mavs are going to the Western Conference Finals.
No way, no
Yes,
way, no,
yes.
absolutely not.
I'm
There's
gonna
no
I'm gonna
way.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. They have Luca, they have Brunson, they have Kleber, Maxi Kleber. They have I forgot the other kid's name that his hair looks like a rooster. The blonde little strip and he got the braid on top. They got that dude. All 4 of these dudes are hitting threes at a high percentage. So, Rachel, that's why I say if they are able to take the game in Phoenix on the strength of this outside shooting they have been going on, I'm telling you right now, I am telling you right now, the Mavs are going to win this series and go to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I don't think Dallas has enough. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough against the Phoenix Suns.
We'll
I
see.
don't. I don't. With Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Adrian, what's his name?
Adrian Wojnarowski?
No, starts with the A. I can't remember right now off the top of
You
my
talking about
head.
DeAndre Ayton?
Yes, thank you, DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Even Jay Crowder is helping. So I just don't think it's enough, and I think that the Phoenix Suns will rise above.
Well, Chris Paul or George actually just said in the chat, Rachel, that Chris Paul had more fouls than points in their last game in Dallas, which is, he struggled in Dallas. He struggled big time in Dallas. And when he fouled out, Devin Booker did what Devin Booker does before Chris Paul even got there. You remember he was the one guard before Chris Paul even got there, and he played the 2 at Kentucky. So I know the home crowd is going to be going crazy because this is a chance for them to actually see their team play this season. Think about that. The number 1 seed in the West, who had 63 wins, Monty Williams, coach of the year. He's very coy. He's coach of the year. This is the last game that those fans could see their sons play in person.
No, they host Game 7.
I'm just saying.
I think it's going. If anything, it'll go to a 7 game series
You
if they
giving
don't get
me
in this
you giving
series.
me emotional rationale.
I'm not giving you emotional rationale.
You giving me emotional logic.
I honestly don't care who win. I prefer the Suns. It is what it is. I just see good basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with the Suns making it, to the finals. I'm good with that. But at the end of the day, I really, I could care less comes out of that series because the Cleveland Cavaliers are done.
Well,
So
okay, we know that the Lakers are done too, but we can't just say we don't care because we got to have something to talk about. So I
the
know it's
Lakers
time for
been done. They didn't even make a play-in game.
okay,
At least the Cavs made a play-in game.
okay, but what I'm saying is that this is what we do. We have to have these things to talk about. As a matter of fact, I want to ask you a question when we come back from break.
All right, we'll be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU and 95.9 FM. And you are with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and Willie Epteen Jr. And George in the chat room says, did you read this already, Will, about Chris Paul had more fouls and points in their last game in Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm, trying to produce and do all this other stuff. So sorry about that.
I got you.
All right. So you said you had a question for me when we came back from break. What is the question for me? And I promise I won't give an emotional answer.
You can't give an emotional answer.
Okay.
So Chris Paul is 37 years old, right?
Yeah.
He is already considered to be one of the all-time great point guards, right? Do you think that he absolutely needs to win a championship to thrust himself up even higher than where he's already at on the all-time great list of point guards?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you can be great without winning a ring and be, great at your position and not win a ring. Because if we're solidifying, yeah, they're the best, but they're only the best because we have a ring. They have a ring. I don't really think that's a fair argument. People can be great and just not have a great supporting cast. I mean, yes, you say great players elevate everybody else, but LeBron James wasn't going to be able to win no NBA Finals against the Spurs with the cast of characters that he had with Eric Snow, Ira Newble, and the other people that he had on that team. So Daniel Boobie Gibson, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Zydrunas Ilgauskas was a good player, but it still wasn't enough to be able to go into San Antonio and win that game. So sometimes it just happens. You can't elevate everybody all the time. But I don't think you have to win a ring to be a great player. I think he can still be one of the all-time greats without winning a ring.
See, you didn't even answer my question.
Okay, ask me again.
You went through all that and didn't even answer the question.
Ask me again.
What kind of stuff are they teaching y'all at the Ohio State University?
Shut up.
You should have gone to Michigan.
Whatever. How did I answer the question?
Because you don't have to be great to win a championship.
That's what I said. I said the same thing.
I said an all-time great. And if he doesn't win one, will he stay in the realm or the tier that he is in without a championship? This is not a question about his greatness or lack thereof. I'm gonna tell you like this. So let me ask you this question then. If Chris Paul, who has been to one finals, never wins a championship, and John Stockton, who went to 2 straight finals and lost to Chicago Bulls, never won a championship, are you putting Chris Paul ahead of John Stockton as an all-time great? Because John Stockton is an all-time great.
No.
So if he does, or so he really kind of does need to win a championship to get ahead of John Stockton in that next tier of all-time great point guards. Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, uh Gary Payton, because Gary Payton got one, even though it was in his later years in Miami. Tim Hardaway, even though he got one in his later years. I think he no, where was he at? Was that in Miami? No. No, Tim Hardaway doesn't have one. Jason Kidd, who got one in his later years in Dallas before. So I think that as unfortunate and unfair as it is, it's not the thing that makes you an all-time great, but it will place you in a different tier as an all-time great. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and apply for a teaching position at the Ohio State University after I finish this
Whatever.
argument.
I did answer your question. I answered it. So
Oh, jeez,
this
that was
Philly
funny.
Miami series. What do you think about this one? I like this series. I like where it's going. I'm glad Joel Embiid is back, and I want to see who's gonna come out of the series because Miami is punching and Philly is coming back for punches. But once again, James Harden is disappearing in these games, and I don't really know what he's doing. So I don't know if James Harden is a person you can count on in the playoffs. But I kind of like the fact that Philly and Miami are tied, and I don't really care who come out of here because the Philadelphia and beat the Cavs 5 games straight. Um, so I don't really
Here,
care who comes out of there. I just want a good series, which is it's been a pretty good series so far.
well, I'm not gonna say that because I don't want James Harden to be a success in anything on the basketball floor. I just
Why?
I didn't tell you the story about
No?
when I interviewed that dude and he looked at me like I was a scrub.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I got the audio. This was from, I mean, I'm holding a sports grudge now, but I cannot be a fan of that dude. I mean, I think somebody on Twitter today followed me and his handle was James Frauden. But no, but he actually has played well in these 2 games in Philadelphia. He looked a little bit somewhat like his old self. I think that James Harden has definitely lost a step. I mean, you can even see it on his step back game, which I complimented on him saying, "Yo, man, your step back game is ridiculous." And he was like, "Is this the first time you ever seen me play?" No, fool. I was just happy. I'm telling you how awesome it was to see it in person for the first time. But anyway, that's that. Um, for Miami, Kyle Lowry is out of Game 5 with the hamstring injury. So we could be seeing something that we're not accustomed to seeing from a Doc Rivers coach basketball team. They could actually win the series after being down 0-2, as opposed to being up 3-1 and then losing the series.
How you figure that?
Because Kyle Lowry is not playing in Game 5.
Yeah, but I mean,
Duncan Robinson, for whatever reason, Eric Spoelstra would not put him on the floor. So they're having to rely on Jimmy. You can call me Jimmy. I'm going to call him James. They're having to rely on James and Bam and Tyler. But Kyle Lowry is the leader of the team. I understand Jimmy Butler is the leader, but Kyle Lowry is the leader of that team. And I'm not talking about just what he does as a point guard from a leadership position. This dude has made big shot after big shot after big shot after big shot after big shot over his career. As a matter of fact, when him and DeRozan were together in Toronto, they had the best backcourt in the Eastern Conference for a long time. They just could never get over the hump because some dude named LeBron was in their way. But 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 Kyle Lowry not being there is humongous. Humongous. And then on top of that, I mean, I understand that he's a smaller guard, yeah, but the defensive checks that he makes, the communication that he is in charge of out there on the floor, those are things that you don't see in the box score that we don't talk about enough. And me being a former point guard myself and a smaller point guard at that, I'm huge fans of players like that because they have to do it with their mind just as much as they have to do it with their physical prowess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Miami can still pull it off. I still think they're gonna win the series. I think they just too much for the Heat. I mean, they just too much for Philadelphia, and they pretty much doing what they've been doing all year is running rough shop on everybody. So, I think Miami will come out of that series. But like I said, I just want it to be a good series. I wanted to go 7 games. How long? Kyle Lowry, is he gonna be out for long?
Well, I think he's a game to game type of decision.
Okay, maybe he
So,
might play tonight.
no, tonight is game 5. He's not
He
playing
out
tonight.
tonight.
Yeah, he's not playing tonight. So and he's got a strained hamstring. And you know how those hamstrings can be. I mean, look, Devin Booker came back from a 3 to 4 week injury in 2 weeks or a week or whatever it was. So you never really know what is or what's not going to happen. But for the I almost hit the Raptors, for the Heat, the importance of Kyle Lowry without a Duncan Robinson on the floor making shots is huge. And I think Spoelstra's going to have to stick that dude in there because they need some scoring. They need some help bad. I mean, Jimmy can't do it. Jimmy is not a great offensive player. He's not even a very good offensive player. He's really good, but he's not very good. And his tenacity and the way he approaches the game makes him, to me, not to say that he's a bad player at all, because that's not what I'm saying, but it makes him a better offensive player than we really believe him to be.
Jimmy buckets.
Yep.
Well, I mean, he's been that leader for Miami, and obviously Miami wouldn't be where they're at without him. You know, um, scoring and stuff like that. So, um, undisputed. Because I'm like Kyle Lowry. I'm like, I think if they didn't have Jimmy Butler, they would be screwed over Kyle Lowry.
Well, I mean, they both bring different elements to the table. I mean, you're right when you say that. But you remember Jimmy Butler initially in the NBA hung his hat on the way he played defense.
Yeah.
So that is a true statement. No doubt about it.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think he'll be back for game 6 though, for sure.
Okay.
He better put some lidocaine on and get a shot or something. I think he'll be back because the series could be in question if they lose tonight in Miami. Golden State, we got 2 minutes left. Golden State, Memphis, that series is done. Josh is out. So, and then Milwaukee, Boston, Al Horford went bananas. 35-year-old went bananas last night for 35 points, I think, which was a career high in the playoffs for him. Who do you think coming out of that series?
After game 1, I was like, Milwaukee's about to bury these dudes, but I think Milwaukee, and in particular, Giannis Antetokounmpo, are really missing Chris Middleton.
Yeah, he was
So
a cheerleader on the sidelines yesterday.
so if that, well, he needs to be a cheerleader with a tank top and some shorts on and some high tops, because they're missing his 20 to 25 point a game performance that they need in these playoffs against that team that has the best defense in the NBA. I don't like the Bucks' chances. Going back to Boston for game 5. So if Chris Middleton is going to channel his inner, I don't know, Paul Pierce, although Paul Pierce played for the Celtics and not the Bucks, but you know what I'm getting at. I don't like Milwaukee's chances, especially if they continue to let Giannis bring the ball up the floor like he the point guard.
Yeah, well, we gonna see because we got some more basketball to play, so we will know by next week. So hopefully the series won't be over by the time we back on air again. But Willie, I want to thank you for joining me today. You've been listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM, and we are out of here.
Peace.
Yeah, boy, welcome back.
I'm glad to be back.
Good. I'm glad you're feeling better.
I miss your laugh. Nobody laughs like you.
I was told I'll cackle.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I do not cackle.
Yeah. George says, awesome show. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Appreciate you.
All right. I got to get out of here. I got a baseball show to get ready for.
Okay. All right. I'll holler at you.
When are y'all going to come back on the show? Where's Marshawn at?
I don't know. I never heard back from him.
Is he that dude there? Well, okay.
Well, let me know.
I got the shake back on Friday.
I can't do this Friday.
What about Thursday?
Thursday this week?
No, I can't do Well,
I can't do Thursday.
Can't do Thursday. Okay. Well, maybe and I haven't done a ballers report in like 4 weeks, and I went to go get in there today, and the dude tells me that they closed the account that I usually log into, and that it will be a week before he get it back to me. So I'm gonna remind him on Monday to send me the information, because I got guests lined up to come on that show for real, for real. I mean, like people in the industry. So I'll let you know about that. That'll be, next Tuesday at 8:00 your time, 7:00 mine.
Okay.
And then the baseball show, yeah, I would like to have you and Natalie and Kate on at the same time. That would be pretty dope. But we'll talk about that later too.
Okay. All right.
All right, girl.
All right.
Peace.
Holla at you. Talk
All
to
right.
you later. Bye.